Each week in this podcast, the topics of today and tomorrow are discussed while we sample some of the finest libations known to man. Join us. We are your hosts, Brian and Britt.
Check us out.
Right? Check us out, guys.
Yeah.
Check us out going on a Tuesday?
Yeah.
Why not? Let's just do this on a Tuesday.
That's why we're calling this Impromptu, which is funny because you actually played season 2 opener on that, but that's...
Oh, did I?
Yeah. That's all right.
Whoops, my bad. So that's how impromptu we are.
Yeah. Unrehearsed, raw. Welcome to Drink Talk.
Yes, and we're live now.
Yes. So we decided to do this. We
had some free time on our hands, I guess.
We did, and your birthday's coming up, so I wanted to hang out with you outside of the whole family thing. So I said, hey, let's hang out for a little bit. And Britt and I got to talking, and we're like, you know what? There's a few things that we want to get off our chest. So why not?
I'm getting older.
Do this.
Let's do it.
All right. So what are we drinking on here?
Well, it's in the fridge, so let's just stash sitting here next to me.
Wait,
but we'll get to that.
I don't quite see it.
Yeah.
Is it this Paul Bunyan can over here?
It is the most giantest can you can.
That is.
It's been sitting in there for actually a week now, and I completely forgot I had it until moments ago, and I was like, wait a minute, I think I have a secret beer in the fridge. And so this was recommended to me. You remember the gentleman that came over with Clown Shoe Beers?
Yeah.
He recommended this.
Yeah, from Quail Distributing.
You got it.
Yeah, nice. So, yeah, Knee Deep Brewing Company. This is called Hoptologist. It's a DIPA, double IPA.
Dip up.
And let me see if I can get some stats here for you on the 9%. So, I mean, it's fair. But 102 IBUs. This can, though, is abnormally large. I don't have small hands. This is This is really a large. Oh, it's a full pint. Wow. Oh, it's a full pint and 3.2 ounces.
Right.
Okay, so it's a pint and some.
Yes.
That's what that is.
I'm ready for it because, like I said, it was a recommendation by him, and I was like, all right, you always recommend good beer, so I'm not going to turn this one down.
As you have may known, we are pretty IPA heavy.
Yes, and we will be tonight because everything inside of here is IPAs as well. So,
Hey.
And I believe they might be DIPAs as well.
We're a fan of flavor.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, I was actually drinking on some porters earlier, so
yes.
I'm a fan.
We were at the casual pint for all your casual needs, and actually all your beer needs.
Yes, your casual pint needs.
Yes, exactly. Great place to get your beer, and like I said, this is where this came from, and also all the rest of beers that we will be drinking tonight.
You want to zoom in on that one?
I can.
Get some can art because it actually looks a little mad scientist, hophead mad scientist kind of guy.
Oh yeah, kind of looks like Oscar the Grouch is what I think.
Kind of only, like. Yeah. If he had a hop
out
head.
of the can.
Yeah.
Oh wait, huh?
How about that? All right. Well, how does this? Ooh, it's got a nice citrusy aroma. Cheers to that. Kind of amber color, golden. Not quite amber, golden.
Smooth. Not crisp, but smooth.
Dry. There is a little bit of a dry mouthfeel to it from the hops. Piney. I get some piney in there. But yeah, full of flavor for sure. Packed full of flavor. I dig it.
I'm going to see if I can do a little bit of background music and whatnot. But let's get started on your day, man. How's your week been going? Man, mine we'll talk about mine just in a little bit.
Well, my week has been going. Both my girls are in the Omaha Community House or Omaha Community Playhouse version of
that's
Christmas
right.
Carol. Just opened up this weekend.
That's great.
Kind of an Omaha staple, and my youngest is playing Tiny Tim. So if you are in Omaha and you want to check out an awesome tradition-worthy show, I would go check out A Christmas Carol at Omaha Community Playhouse. It is a fantastic performance. It is, like I said, so it's a good tradition thing. There's a lot of people I know that they do it every single year. If you are wanting to go when there is smaller crowds, I would choose the November showings, which is quickly coming to an end. We're coming to the end of November. So
what? All right, so I remember Halloween was here, and then it was like I quickly came home after work and got things up, for all these massive amount of kids that I thought were going to be coming over, but didn't. We had tons. In fact, there's still, Brian, if you want candy, take some with you.
Oh, dude, we literally bought the candy back from our kids, and I took it to work.
What?
Yeah, that's what we do.
Oh, so they get money
Yeah,
for the candy you
no,
give them.
they get to pick out some candy, but then we buy back the candy, and I take it to work, and we just get rid of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't rot their teeth, I guess. I
Yeah.
mean, that'd be one.
It was the first year
plus.
that we did that. Last year, we just took the excess candy to work.
Yeah,
this year,
why
we
not?
actually bought it from. But
Oh, by the way, Drink Talk's live right now.
hey, we're live. There was something that I was gonna
Candy.
that
You take to work.
The older I get, the more angry I get when people put up Christmas lights before Thanksgiving.
All right. But with that said, I put my Christmas lights up this weekend because it was beautiful, but I haven't turned them on.
There you go. So
I've not turned them on.
That's the thing. I've driven around and I've seen a lot of people that are displaying their Christmas lights in all their glory, and it's like, there's a holiday in between Halloween and Christmas, right?
So I'm gonna do you one the same. I don't mind if you turn the Christmas lights on Thanksgiving, because then you get to kind of share them for two holidays.
Yeah, you got people in town.
But if you turn them on prior to Thanksgiving, because it's kind of nice to have the house lit up, and you got the people coming over for turkey dinner and all that stuff. So yeah, show off your Christmas lights then, and that's totally fine by me. But prior to Thanksgiving, nope, it's too soon.
Santa Claus notices. He's not going to stop by your house. Just FYI.
He's like, too early.
Yeah, bypass that one.
But yeah, I'm all for. I used to hang Christmas lights way back in the day. So the earlier the better. Like we were
still do.
No. I meant professionally.
Okay.
So professionally, gosh, it was
now you do it for free.
Yeah, eight plus years ago, or even probably 10 years ago. I used to hang Christmas lights for a living, so I get the fact getting up your Christmas lights before Halloween or while the weather is nice, because
totally understand.
Mid-November, end of November,
Yeah.
December is right out because it's like snowy on the ground and you don't want to be slipping and sliding, and that's why they paid us to do it.
Yeah, too cold too cold to not have gloves on, but you can't put the things up there with gloves on, and yeah.
So I used to have 2 pairs of gloves, and I had them around my wrist, and then the ones I took off, my fingertips were exposed, but it's still a glove, so I had double gloves.
I've been going over the years because I do some inside and outside work, and over the years I've been trying to find like a good balance for putting something in your gloves or keeping your hands warm, because my hands get super dry and super cold in the winter, and so I've been trying to come up with a mix of, I tried those just those packets that you buy, those hand warmer packets that you put in your glove, and they don't really do a whole lot other than just amplify the heat that's already in there. So they're fine that your hands aren't going to warm up, but they will stay somewhere around room temperature or body temperature or whatever. And then I also try those the reusable ones where you can snap the little metal piece, which my girls, holy cow, they absolutely love those, because it's like a science experiment. It's like a clear gel, and then you snap that little metal piece. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then
Hot hands.
It turns white, and then you can microwave. Well, the old ones you could microwave. Now you have to boil them because the plastic's too thin to microwave. But recently I just bought a Zippo. Came out with it's actually a battery charger, like a secondary battery charger.
So you plug in, dock in your gloves?
Your phone. No, you plug it like a battery charger for your phone. It's got a USB port in it, and it charges using micro USB, but is also a hand warmer.
Ooh.
It is freaking phenomenal.
Sounds nice.
I love
warm.
it. It doesn't get like super hot for obvious reasons because it has electronics in it. But it gets really warm. So,
but there was no need for that today, because today was gorgeous outside.
God, 60 degrees. Yeah, tomorrow's 65. Are you kidding me? Yeah,
I'm digging this weather, and
but
like it's Brian was
probably
saying,
the last one.
I've got my birthday's coming up Thursday, so hopefully it'll stay nice till then. And
25 again. Love
it. Blizzard.
No, I bet you 20 for your birthday.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
25 again. Yeah.
My body doesn't feel like it.
It's a do-over.
It does not feel like it at all. This is nice. Mm-hmm. This is nice, though.
It is. The more I get into it, the smoother it gets. The first notes that I got off it were like super piney, super dry, because it's the DIPA, that double IPA. But yeah, it's the more you get into it, it kind of simmers out the palate a little bit.
Simmer down now.
Simmer down now.
Simmer down now.
Love it. No, I dig it. Yeah. So what else this week?
This week,
you had some stuff that you wanted to get off your chest.
Well, just work has been tough, and I feel last week was fine. There was a lot of I don't know, not miscommunication. That's the wrong word. Just a lot of like, this could have been done better kind of thing, you know. But this week so far, Monday and Tuesday, I feel like I'm shutting down. I'm just like.
Is it Friday yet?
Well, Monday came with barrage of, you know, this and that and this and that and this and that and people yelling, and it's just like.
Did the Gatsby open yesterday? Is that when was the open? Was that over the weekend?
I mean, yeah. I guess my weekend was great.
Yeah,
my weekend was great. So that I guess I should start to talk about that first.
Yeah.
So huge shout out to Jake. Down there at the Hive. Jake has actually been on our show before.
Mm-hmm.
He showed up the episode where we had kombucha. That's right, and we talked about health benefits. Mm-hmm. And that was a 2-day episode thing.
Yeah, well, it was a 2-episode day.
2-episode day. I said that wrong, didn't I?
We started at Lonely Oak Distillery out in Erling, Iowa, and had a good time out there. Yeah, and then
we need to get back out there.
We do. And they've got some new bourbon out there, Steeple Ridge bourbon that is freaking fantastic.
I saw their last post had a Pappy Van Winkle in it
next to the Steeple Ridge.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I was like, ooh,
yeah.
How come I didn't get an invitation?
Yeah.
No, yeah. So this weekend was great with Jake down at the now called the Gatsby. It used to be called the Hive. And then we've since transformed the place. So
it's like a Roaring 20s kind of.
Yeah, like really. If you're looking at it, we're going into the 20s again.
Yeah, we are.
And that's
which was brilliant on his part.
Yeah, and Prohibition was outlawed. I believe it's sometime in January 16th or something like that.
Prohibition wasn't outlawed. Prohibition came into effect.
You know what it meant. You know what it meant. So way cool. Like we updated all the lighting in there. We updated all the decal stuff. We updated the wallpaper. He updated the floors, the chandeliers, the seating. A lot of people are just like, oh, the Hive, it's just the Hive. You just changed the name. It's like, no, we changed everything inside of the place. It doesn't gut it, but you wouldn't recognize it. Let's just say that. We put a lot of time and effort into transforming that place and making it. A nice thing that he did. He's looking for better clientele, better dressed people. Just all around. They're looking for a fancy night out. People think of what he was trying to do with going into the 20s as this whole prohibition. They're thinking, oh, you want to have like a speakeasy. Well, no, it's not a speakeasy. It's like the fancy house up on the hill that doesn't charge you for the drinks when you come, like the movie Gatsby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's looking for like one of those type of parties.
Gotcha.
So knowing that he's going to have one of these type of parties, he now has wine. So that was a big thing that he didn't. He had the little, I don't know, like you call them airplane bottles, but they're the little wines with screw off.
Yeah, they're probably 8 ounce.
He's got really good, really nice red wines, white wines.
Sutter
now.
Home.
Yeah, no.
I'm just kidding.
In fact, Dad came and we did some wine tastings, and him and I and a couple other people found some decent wines to go there, and he chose them, and
nice.
It's really good stuff.
The question I have for you is, will there be flappers?
There was last weekend.
Okay.
So, yes, there were flappers last weekend.
Just checking. Those of you that don't know what flappers are, know your history.
Yeah, right. But no, really cool. Check out that joint. In fact, it
was great that he opened right before New Year's.
Mom and Dad came down with me, and our accountant came down with us. And they were like, we got there at like, I don't know, 8:30, and they were like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, well, this place really doesn't get hopping until late in the evening. I'd say like 10 o'clock or so, 10:15. And so they're like, oh, that seems so late. They were there till midnight. No, it was good.
If you want to get an accountant, get one that will stay at the bar with you till midnight.
Exactly.
Not while he's doing your taxes.
And dance on the dance floor, too.
Yeah, no.
Oh, it was great. No, the
cool.
place got packed, and then they brought in a DJ. And I guess shout out to Devin Dupree, great DJ here in town. He was DJing that night and really set the mood Played some old school music, and
he
it
had a
was great.
celebrity stop by.
Oh yeah, Adam Devine was there.
Yeah.
So we got pictures with him and his fiancée.
Mm-hmm.
I got a great photo of me actually telling a joke to him and him laughing, and his fiancée laughing as well. And it's great to actually make a comedian laugh. You know,
Yeah.
you're just like, oh yeah, I did that.
Yeah. Or he was being nice.
I don't know. I was telling a funny story.
He's from Omaha, so he's a hometown boy. So
Yeah, if you've
it's nice to
never
see.
seen Adam Devine's work, definitely check it out because he is a funny guy.
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
Workaholics. is what
that
he
was
does
kind of his big start was Workaholics.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a few things prior to that, but Workaholics is really where he skyrocketed and started doing all this stuff. And Adam Devine's House Party, that was great on Comedy Central, and it was just a bunch of comedians, and it was good. That was good.
Nice. Nice.
So at least my weekend was good.
Yeah.
But then it was just all like I hit a brick wall on Monday, and then today, you know, just things weren't going right, and nothing was going my way, and it was like I was fighting in an uphill battle, upriver battle, I guess. You know, one of the fish that are trying to go upriver. Yeah, it was just so hard to go upriver.
So on my weekend, Saturday, I know you weren't there Saturday night. We had so we grew up in Ponca Hills, and there's a group of us guys that get together, and we have the whiskey club, and we get together. We try and do it at least once or twice a year. We hadn't got together in a while, but one of the guys ended up bringing this jerky from a local place called Cure, and it's out of Fort Calhoun, and
I've never heard of that before.
It's a craft butcher, and it was Wagyu beef. I want to say brisket, but it was the most phenomenal thing that I've ever eaten there. They're only open 3 days a week, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, out of Fort Calhoun. I am totally heading up there to check it out because it was like he put it on the plate and we're like, oh, that looks good. We took a bite and then it was gone because it was just like it was that amazing. Like we just destroyed it. It was super awesome. So I'm going to have to check that place out.
Bode says, hey.
Oh, hey, what's going on, buddy?
Exactly.
Hey, we have your
your stuff right there.
Yeah.
We were just looking at it earlier.
Right there.
Yeah.
There's boats.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. If you missed that, he was on the program
2 weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, almost.
Promoting his new CD and also talking about the privacy in the digital age.
That was great talk.
3
hours of a great talk. If you got some time to sit and listen to how we're losing our privacy in said age that we're living in, I mean, we get to the nitty gritty like Roomba's following you around.
Well, and so I got a story on that, but before I get into that, I do want to see. There's a couple people that are popping in and out here, and I just want to let you know if you are just joining us. This one is titled Impromptu because that's exactly what this is.
Yeah,
like,
we just were like, hey, let's just do that.
Yeah, why not? See where it goes.
Yeah.
So, but speaking of privacy, there was a gentleman that Britt and I both know, and he had posted something about he had run out of a type of gas for acetylene torch, and he Fort Calhoun, you know who this is. So anyway, so he didn't think anything of it. Just went,
I did see that post. Yeah,
went to the store, bought the gas that he needed, and went home.
Didn't talk about it.
Didn't talk about it. Didn't say anything about it. Just did the thing, and then when he got home on social media, hey, there's an ad for this gas that you just bought is on sale at XYZ place or whatever. And he's like, was the microphone
almost
listening?
No. It's almost like not only are they tracking you through your phone and where your geolocation is at, but they're also tracking your credit card transactions.
Yep.
So he used a credit card. And
What
it was like,
I wanted to say to him was, it's not really the microphone on your phone. Is it listening? Probably. Is it recording? It's questionable. But the reality is much, much worse. Like the cell phone companies and the credit card companies and the social media companies all got together, and they can completely track you wherever you want to go. And
they just knew that you ran out of that gas and that you needed it at that given time.
Or your geolocation from your cell phone posted you at an area that was really close to a gas place and said, "Oh, hey,
he's probably needing gas."
Yeah, and if he's near there, maybe we should just let him know there's a sale going on, and so that's probably the more likely situation. But I don't know what's worse, having my cell phone microphone listening to me all the time and recording, or the geosynchronous GPS
Knowing
following you
where
around.
you are at.
Exactly. Not only the cell phones, but like your social media and your credit
Well,
card.
and I know
companies
there was a given time where if I was at a spot long enough, Google would say, "Hey, would you like to write a review about the place you work?" You're like, "I'm at here every day. Like, I want to write a review about this place." I mean, I guess I could, but
This place is here.
exactly.
It does things.
It seems like it was about a year ago, and it was just like you would eat at a restaurant, and you get done at the restaurant, and your phone, if you had that, location services on for Google, it would go, "Would you like to write a review about Wendy's?" You're like, "I just ate at Wendy's. That was weird," you know.
I'm gonna give him a 1 star for being creepy.
Wendy's, you're creepy. No, Wendy, you're awesome.
Yeah,
Always fresh, never frozen.
that was a weird segue.
Right.
Yeah. I know that normally we don't get into politics
Yeah,
on this show, but I think that because of what's going on,
deem worthy of talking about the impeachments.
we need to talk about it a little bit on what's going on. So, yeah, it's been political theater for the last week and a half.
And I'll be the one first to say it. I mean, last week I didn't watch it all, but I watched the talking points of the people that the Democratic Party brought forth, and I went, "You're all just hearsay people. You're telling me that someone told you something."
Mm-hmm.
And it's all like, were you even part of any of this? Were you actually in the room? Were you physically listening to the phone call? Have you even met the president to a point? And to me, it just seemed like distraction.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all for seeing this out and wanting to, pursue, if there is something there, I'm all for justice for all, but it seemed like the first round of people who were going to give information and these are their number ace in the hole, you guys are going to shed some light on the situation, did not shed light on this situation at all.
Well, and what I noticed today was that in the news, this has been going on since last week. So we're like a week and some change into these, and it's not the impeachment. These are impeachment hearings for looking at if they're gonna do an impeachment. And in the media, they just call it an impeachment. It's not an impeachment. These are the hearings before they decide they're gonna do the impeachment. But that being said, we are over a week into it, and today was the first day they had somebody that had firsthand knowledge of the phone call.
Right.
And he admitted that he didn't actually know what was going on or what was said in that phone call until he read the transcripts after the fact.
Well, and what was brought up, I think I watched it for maybe 20 minutes. I had a little bit of time to kill, and I was driving, so I just plugged it into the stereo and was listening to it. And what was said was that President Trump demanded Ukraine to investigate his opponent. Why can't I think of his name?
John Biden.
Biden, yeah.
Joe Biden. Sorry, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden and his son to investigate that.
Mm-hmm.
And I use the term loosely, demanded, because that's the term they were using, was demanded.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing was, he asked to, hey, could you look into this for me?
Yep.
There might be some foul play going on. And what the lieutenant was saying, or the admiral, or whoever, I can't remember, it was somebody high-ranking official in the military, was saying when someone that high up tells you to do something, they're demanding you to do it. And it's like, whoa, hang on a second here.
These are high-level government. This is a president of one country talking to the president of another country.
Right. I'm not saying that Trump didn't ask him to look into it. I do believe that probably did take place.
Right. Here's the thing: so they talk about this quid pro quo, which now they've said is bribery. He was actually bribing him to do it, which he wasn't doing. But let's say the conversation happened. What we know is that there was an ask into an investigation of Biden. We know that to be fact. But here's the thing: was he asking in order to get something, or was he saying, hey, you may want to look into this because you literally just $9 billion?
Yeah.
You might want to look into that.
Well, and the fact of the matter was Biden's son went to work over there because there needed to be this trade agreement thing going on, and Biden was supposed to give them money, but in turn he wanted to give his son a job, I guess. And so his son gets on a board of a gas company or something like the oil company.
Never had a job in the gas industry before.
It just seems fishy. It
Now he's
seems
on the board,
weird.
yeah.
You know, like why does his son need to have a job in a country that he's probably never visited before in his entire life?
In an industry he's never worked in before.
Exactly. And you say there's no foul play, and I think that there is some foul play because it was like Biden was saying at the time,
there's no,
"You're scratching my back, I'll scratch yours."
There's no foul play because the media said there was no foul play.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. No, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. It's
So for Trump asking,
was there?
I get why he did. I get it. I get why he did.
We know there was an ask. There was an ask.
Yeah.
But what was the motivation behind it? Was it?
Well, and here's let's look at the other side of the fence. On the we've been mostly kind of leaning Democratic or Republican. Let's look at the other side of the fence with Democratic. So right now Biden is running for office, and this is a bold move.
Not only is he running for office, he is one of the front runners. Of that.
So this is a very bold move on Trump's part to ask this sort of thing when said presidential candidate is running for office. You know,
I don't know. That's the candidate's not the right word because we haven't even got to that point yet. They're still weeding them out.
Well,
it's presidential nominee.
So there's this whole collusion sort of thing going on, and there, you know, with the Hillary and Trump when they came into office, you know, when they were running for office, there was this, you know, collusion. He's with the Russians, you know, and now it's like, oh, Trump's with the Ukraine now, and it's like, I don't know. For me, if I was president, let's just say if I was president, and I knew these shenanigans were going on prior to me becoming president, I'd kind of want to know about it. I'd be like, why did this take place?
Why did your country lose $9 billion?
Right, and then, you know, people are saying that, you know, Trump trying to be friends with Russia, Trump trying to be friends with Ukraine. Oh no, you shouldn't do that. You should get diplomacy out of there. Don't do that. I'm all for being friends with everyone. You know, you're friends with everyone. But I understand that being friends with everybody isn't profitable.
Yeah.
Wars are profitable.
You know what's there was somebody, and I'm not going to say who, but there was somebody that brought up the fact that if you look at it from a purely PR campaign, and you think because really the Ukraine president came out and said, you know, there was none of that happened. Like that phone call was completely innocuous, no big deal. I didn't feel threatened at all, whatever. But that's beside the point. They're still going to move forward on that. But the thing is, if you believe there was Russian collusion, which a lot of people do, that there was Russian collusion, if you believe that, then you have to believe that Ukraine would do its worst to make Trump look horrible. Because Ukraine and Russia hate each other. So you either have to believe that there is Russian collusion or not. Because if there was, and Ukraine knew about it, or it was true, they would do everything in their power to shut Trump down.
Absolutely.
And they're doing the opposite right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a couple people in there that are on the side of the Democrats, but
why can't we all just get along?
Yeah, I don't know. There's always two sides to everything, but it seems like right now. Here's another thing that was interesting that was brought up. Every previous impeachment. Now, this isn't an impeachment. This is the inquiry.
Inquiry.
But every previous one has had bipartisan support.
This is what I call distraction.
Yeah, every one of them has had bipartisan support. This one is 100% on the Democrat side. And I don't care if you fall left or right, because really I fall closer to the middle. And do I like Trump? I don't like him as a person. I think he's doing some good stuff, but I never voted for him because I didn't believe that his decorum belonged in the White House, but he's getting some stuff done. the thing that
Can I go ahead? No, go ahead.
yeah, and I lost my point. Yeah,
What I was going to say, interrupting all this, there's one person that I can't trust.
me
Shifty.
Oh.
Shift eyes.
Judge, jury, and
well, here's the thing. I look at that man and I go, why are your eyes so big?
Okay, so
why are you looking around like?
I don't want to do that because that's what the media does. If they can't find something wrong truthfully
Right.
about you, then they go immediately on character assassination,
But-
and we're not going to do that.
But he always looks like he's looking behind his back. He's like,
yeah,
who? What?
yeah, we're not going to.
What?
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want. I don't
All
want
right,
to.
fair enough. I
Yeah.
won't go there.
Yeah, because if they can't get you on the truth, then
Yeah.
they're going to find character assassination.
Look
Look at his bug eyes. He always looks like he's going looking behind his back.
And then that might be just the way he was built, and I understand that. I will give him this. He had some very good talking points that he brought up today that I frankly can't bring up myself because I don't remember, but I do remember going, oh, that was good. That good call on that one. I like a good debate. I like a good fight to find the resolution or find what was right and what was wrong, and who did what. So I'm all about watching the court TVs and all that stuff. The Judge Judy and all that stuff.
She's awesome.
I like the good fight of who was right, who was wrong, and how do we resolve this. Sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all for watching a good battle.
Daytime drama court TV.
Daytime drama court TV. Any of you out there in the viewing audience have any feedback for us that you guys want to give us that you may want to pry into? And I understand.
If there's a talking point that you want us to talk about,
Exactly.
we're down for literally whatever right now.
I understand that, sorry, I'm peeking out just a little bit here, so I just got to turn it down for the viewing audience.
You peaked already, Brett. Your birthday's coming up.
I peaked. I'm done. I'm out. Yeah, no, I know it's a touchy subject to talk about, and like I said, I don't want to lose any viewers because of it, and this is why this is just kind of a special episode of, getting some things off your chest. And Brian and I neither have sat down and watched the full entire of the impeachment hearings.
I'd probably watch it more than some and less than others.
Okay, yeah, there you go, perfect. Yeah. I YouTube it up at the end of the night and catch the X factor of what was important and what was not.
Let's switch gears.
Yeah, exactly. We're done with that.
Okay. Disney Plus.
Hey, I was very on the fence with Disney Plus because I was
$7.
Well, $7.99, so it's $8. So,
but if you buy the year, then you get 2 months free.
So, with that said, though, I was on the fence because we had gotten rid of
cable.
Well, we got rid of cable a while ago.
Netflix, yeah.
We got rid of Netflix because Carly didn't agree with some of the programming, and that's fine. I understand that. And it was like, oh, I don't have to pay $9 a month or $10. Yeah, bye. So it was me getting into another subscription of something. I'm already paying right now for a subscription to Fubo TV or something like that, and that's just for football, so I can get the Husker games and stuff like that, which is stupid. I mean, it's going to cost me probably more than that on cable than whatever. Anyway, I get it, and it's fine, and I'm going to shut it off and it'll be done. But anyway, when they said I have Verizon Unlimited, and they said, "Oh no, you get it free for a year," I went, "Oh yeah, done."
Yeah,
Yeah, I got that.
yeah.
Let's do that.
So that just launched.
So yeah,
Thursday.
Let's just for those viewing audience that don't know that are looking into getting Disney, if you have Verizon Unlimited plan, if you don't, you can upgrade to Verizon Unlimited, and then you can get Disney for an entire year.
Or if you want to bundle it with Hulu, they have a package out there that you can get Hulu and Disney Plus together,
And ESPN.
And ESPN, but
for $13.99.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's under $15. But be careful where you go and the websites that you go to, because I had a friend that signed up for that. And
They got duped
and logged into Disney Plus, and it's like, you don't have Disney Plus. So I would be careful as to where you go to get that.
I would recommend going through your actual service provider.
Yeah.
So I was able to go on to Verizon and Verizon had a button, and I clicked that button, and I signed up through Verizon because I was like, how do they know I've got Verizon? How do they know to give me a free year?
Mm-hmm.
So then I went to Verizon. I was like, oh, I just do it this way, and we're good.
And we're good. So I initially, when I looked at the programming of Disney Plus, I was like, it was interesting. Like everything on there, I was like, yep. I would totally watch that. And I have 2 girls.
Pocahontas. Actually,
You know
Pocahontas
what?
was great.
You know what? It's a bit of our.
Blue corn moon.
I paint with the colors of the wind.
Yes, exactly. Side topic. We're on to our next beer. We were at Casual Pint, and I picked up a 4-pack of this, which my wife is currently upstairs drinking the other 3 of these. Almanac. This is the Almanac Loud, not the Love. This is their hazy Dippa. It's dank, tropical, and smooth. It's an 8%er. Almanac is such a great beer, and Brian goes, I haven't had this. And I'm like, I could have swore I've taken this.
They had the Love on Tap at Casual Pint. But
Yep.
that's more of their like Pilsner style light beer.
That's their IPA.
Is it?
The Love is the IPA.
Okay.
This is the double IPA.
Okay. All right.
And it's with Mosaic, Cashmere, and
Mosaic hops are delicious.
Mosaic hops are delicious. Cashmere hops are delicious. And Simcoe hops are delicious. This is the malt is Admiral, Best Pale, Pilsner, Wheat, and Flaky Barley Oats.
All right, well.
Yeah, no, this is. I can't believe you've never had this.
So right off the bat, I'm going to say it's I get the sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
You do get the wheat kind of flavor to it. It's not as piney. Like the last one was super piney.
I get more of the flavor on the back side of my tongue than I do on the front side.
Smooth up front, and then you get the flavor on the back for sure. But this is like the first one was definitely like sucking on a pine tree.
Sucking on a pine tree.
Well, yeah. If you like gin, you would totally like that first one.
Yeah. All right. So I get where you're going there.
Yeah, this one's more wheat based, where it's like it's a sweeter, lighter, but you definitely get that earthy, that light earthy flavor from like the wheat.
For sure.
Yeah, no, I dig it. It's definitely cloudy. The other one was a little clearer. This is a yellow. I wouldn't say even golden. It's
I would
more
assume
yellow.
the other one was a little more filtered.
Mm-hmm. For sure, and darker colored. Oh man, that's delightful. I like that. And that's a double IPA. What's the percentage?
It says Loud is obviously dry hopped with the loudest hops and screams with juicy tropical notes of mango, pineapple, and pine with a luscious, smooth mouth feel.
The juiciness is subdued in there, but you get it. Like when you think about it, you do get it. But I would say it's a very light dry feel, wheat, sweetness. Taste my sweetness. Sorry.
Taste my sweetness.
That was those of you that have seen the band. I was going with the band band Skittles commercial.
Oh yeah.
Get ready for my sweetness. Look it up. We're not gonna bring.
Yeah, we can't.
we
can't go there. Otherwise, we'll be taken off of the air.
Off
the air.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I hope we don't get taken off the air for that rant on impeachment hearing. But hey, it's just. Oh, that was another thing we're gonna bring up. Is
this is internet radio, man. We can do whatever we want, right?
On certain things. So Brian and I are actually on multiple platforms, so you can't only just hear us in one location. Currently, right now, we're streaming to 3 locations, which is amazingly awesome because I thought it was going to cost an arm and a leg.
Not just awesome,
amazingly awesome. We're live stream right now on Facebook. We're live stream on YouTube. We're also live stream on Vimeo, and we're live stream on Livestream. So we're actually on 4 different locations right now.
We're live stream on Livestream?
We're live stream on Livestream.
I was so unprepared.
So that actually is my service provider. Livestream's great. They actually do sporting events. And a while back, Brian and I finally dropped some money on a decent camera and a package service. And do this live stream thing. They're amazing. And then I looked into live stream and it's all like, oh, your bandwidth is enormous. Gotcha. Let's do that. But yeah, so it goes to live stream, but from live stream it goes to Vimeo, and from Vimeo it actually goes to YouTube. But we currently upload to Facebook straight from the app we're using.
All the things.
So it's like awesome.
But the more people jump on it, the smaller that bandwidth gets because it gets congested. So don't go on there at all. This is nothing. You don't want more people jumping onto this because then the bandwidth gets congested.
Like I said, they do sporting events. So if that's the case, they know they need.
I was going on the theory of like
then your sports package on your TV is going to get more expensive because they do, like I said, football, soccer, all that sort of stuff. So anyway, awesome that we can come to you in all those different facets, but
in a camera that's half the size of a beer can.
Oh my gosh, this thing, the camera is
half the size of a beer can.
Half the size of this remote right here. But I have noticed, and I don't know if you guys out there in the viewing audience or listening audience have noticed this as well. Every time I hop onto YouTube, the thing pops up and says, "Hey, we've got new
privacy
rights."
Yeah,
and you have to agree. I don't know what happens if you disagree, but it's just kind of like, yes, I agree that I've read it or whatnot. But it's weird that it keeps coming up
every single time you log
like
in.
Every single time if it's open in the background, I reopen it, it doesn't come up. But if I close out of the app, go into the app, it's like, hey, by the way, there's new privacy rights. And then I was on YouTube today at work just for a little bit, and it came up as well at work. And I'm like, I get it. I get that you have new privacy rights. I get it. But my question is, I didn't read them. I'm sure someone out there has read them, Mike.
Lawyers,
Mike. Yeah. What are the new privacy rights, and what are they taking away from us? What freedom of speech are they taking away from us?
Well, we already know we don't own anything that's on social media and all that. So.
Right. This is just a platform. YouTube is just a platform in order for people to upload videos, laugh, mostly, and find information. But when you start limiting that information, what are you now?
And I kind of wonder, because YouTube is a pretty open platform, and you can upload videos as much as you want about whomever you want. The only content they try and squash is anything that's copyrighted. But let's say you upload a funny video and it gets on Vine and
so Bodes was just making a comment here, and I think it does pertain to exactly what we're talking about. He said YouTube has certain words that automatically get you demonetized. Now, Bodes, with that said,
what just happened there? There's a ghost in the machine.
Well, no, there's 2 yoga mats here, and that was in the middle of yoga mats.
Oh, it was just stretching?
It was stretching. But with that said, we're not a monetized group on YouTube right now. So you want to demonetize me? Great, because I'm not monetized yet.
Is it the 7 words that you can never say on television by George Carlin? Are those the words? Are those the words? If you don't know those words, go again. Look that up on YouTube.
BOMB.
Bombardier. STP.
I don't know.
C.
I'm not even. We were not even going.
MF and T. Those are the
right. But with that said, we aren't monetized. But I will say this: it is harder to find us, even if you just go into Google.
Probably because our name is Drink Talk, and that word "drink" probably is
right. It's a huge one, and Andrew was telling us, he's like, "Oh, you should change your name to, Bros Talk Drink or something." I don't know what he was. There was some of the gist. None of that. I like our name, and I think there's a way we can push our name forward. We just have to do it right in the right way.
It's easy when you're talking to somebody, but in the algorithm, it tends to be weird.
But with that said, some of the talks that we talk about are very controversial.
You were close. You were close.
That the mainstream outlets don't want to talk about because, frankly, chemical contrails and what was California, the fire in the mud, and just things that they don't really want to talk about.
Polarizing issues.
Well, yeah, losing your privacy in the digital age. There's been great talks that we've had on the show, which is a great outlet for us, but they've also hidden that from the people that it should be reaching out to. So, if you literally typed in drink talk and then what we're doing right now, impromptu, it would not be number one. And you're like, it's drink talk impromptu. Who else has that on YouTube? But somebody else, it'll pop up like music video, drink talk. And you're like, what? No.
I have one that I want to kind of talk about that actually came up in conversation the other day and totally unrelated. I mean, we've had an episode about it, but the whole conversation came out about without the episode coming up until the very end. But they were talking about over in Iowa. Iowa's number one in the nation right now for wind energy because they have the land to do it and all that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
If you've driven through Iowa, you've seen what they've done.
Yep, and it's been around for years. I remember back when I was in the military, driving through Iowa, there was a...
Wind farms.
There was one giant windmill that was 1 hour and 15 minutes from our house. So I knew that once we hit that windmill, we had 1 hour and 15 minutes to the house. So it was kind of like a landmark for us. Yeah. But
were you going to Des Moines or were you going north?
From Chicago to Omaha.
You didn't travel through Des Moines that way then?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we did.
Because I was going to say there's some up north as well.
Yeah, no, this
is...
by
Lake of the Ozarks.
This is after Des
No,
Moines.
Ozarks is down.
This is halfway between Des Moines and Omaha.
What's the big lake in Iowa?
The Okoboji.
Okoboji, yeah. So going north to Okoboji, there's that way too.
There's a ton of them. But here's the thing. Iowa is really on the forefront of wind energy. But here's the thing, that they've been doing it for so long that now some of the blades need to be replaced because they're actually rusting out and all that.
Well, and they've also perfected the blade technology as well.
I don't know that perfected is the right word.
They've gotten better.
Yes.
So I was just driving to Des Moines. What was it? 2 weeks ago, I did that bodybuilding show.
You did?
Were the
you
DJ for the bodybuilding show.
Just let's clarify.
It was the beginning of November. In fact, I came back and we had Buds on the show.
Yeah, sure.
So anyway, when I was traveling, I was noticing that below each windmill, there was the blades.
Yeah.
And some of them had the new blades on them, and the old blades were just sitting there waiting to be picked up. And
if you've ever traveled on the interstate and seen these blades, this is not something that you can like hold in your hand. These are things that literally they have to put an extension on
your hand. I got this.
Well, the old school, like on the farm.
Just think of like 3 or 4 tractor trailer or semi truck trailer beds.
It's as long as some houses.
It's longer than that, Brian. It's like 3 or 4. I mean, it's got to be 200 some odd feet long. There's maybe a little less than that.
There's literally no bed when these things are hauled. It's they hook up to the tractor, which is the semi,
right, and then there's another set of wheels way at the end.
Yeah, at the very end. There's no bed in between.
But I noticed that the new ones aren't as thick. They're thinner, but they've got a rounded kind of edge on them, so they're
to deflect the birds as they come by.
It's
kidding.
It's like a Ginsu knife. Like, get away from here! Get away from here!
Yeah. There's a giant hand on there, just pushing them away. Just get away! Get away! Get away!
Anyway, very cool that with anything. With that said, tonight I was over at the folks' house, and I was replacing some of their outdoor lighting, and Dad's like, "Oh, one of these, a couple of them have gotten water in them." I'm like, "Yeah, they're 10 years old, Dad."
You're replacing a light bulb after 10 years.
Not a light bulb, the whole fixture, because it's just the weather stripping on that and all that stuff has just gone out. And,
all right.
Things just don't last.
Well, yeah, when we just moved into our house like 6 years ago, and when we were installing all the equipment in there, the refrigerator and the washer and dryer and all that, and we're like, just kind of joking that my wife's parents still had their washer and dryer after 20 years, and they were like, yeah, you'll be lucky to get 10 years out of these things.
All right, so another comment from the Peanut Gallery here. He said that they haven't been able to attempt to enforce a whole lot of this because of the precedents that could put them in a dangerous spot. So
enforce a lot of what?
Getting back to YouTube and the privacy rights and all that stuff.
Just making sure. All right.
Yeah, they haven't really. It's kind of like a warning, like, hey, we're gonna do it.
By the by,
we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I don't know when we're going to do it, but we're going to do it.
Just letting you know.
Yeah.
It's on the cusp. We're gonna. We could push that button. We're gonna do it.
Do it. Do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
But anyway, yeah, no, that conversation when I was talking about the windmill blades and all that, and I was like, I got to talking about it because he was a person that really believed in wind technology, and I didn't want to like burst his bubble, and I was like, I've actually done some research on this, and while I am a fan of
I got it.
pun intended.
That was good. That was really good, bro.
Of wind energy. It has a lot of drawbacks. You can't do it when it's too windy. You can't do it when it's not windy enough. The storage of the energy has been imperfect because the batteries are imperfect. It takes energy to actually get them moving. So it's an imperfect technology. To me, like if we're going to do alternative energy, we're going to look at like hydroelectric because it's easy to spin up, it's easy to spin down. But the problem is you have to have like moving water wherever you are. Otherwise, the lines are, gets too long to run lines from here, from wherever, hundreds and hundreds of miles. So if you have a water source, which in Nebraska is great, we have more river miles than most states, which is pretty cool. So I don't know why we're not looking into hydroelectric.
Right. I have no problem damming up the river a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, we did have that dam that collapsed. But granted, that dam was like damn old, wasn't it?
It was damn old. Not just old. It was
damn old.
In the category of dams, it was old.
It was a damn old.
It was damn old. Up in California, there was that one that also they had sprung a leak, and like what do you do when a dam springs a leak? How do you fix that?
Well, and we've created technology now where if you want to go camping, you can grab this little thing and just throw it in the water. It's got a little propeller and it's got a little string. You tie it on the embankment, and boom, you could charge your cell phone. You could run a lamp off of it. I don't know about plugging a microwave into it, but I mean,
solar's pretty good. But
what if we had those things on a massive, bigger scale, and we weren't damming something up, but ultimately just putting something in the water in order for it to gain energy?
Because they would talk about like the sturgeon jump into it and then they lose their life because they get eat up by the blades of it, and the natural habitat,
wildlife society thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is the major thing.
All right, I see where. Yeah, a kid jumps in the river and gets his foot caught in one, and
Well, and even with dams in general, the way they are now, I mean, they talk about the we are seeing that now. The reason that Gavin's Point Dam up in South Dakota, Yankton, South Dakota, is releasing so much stuff is actually because of a habitat for a fish, and they're trying to make sure that habitat is maintained. But the problem is maintaining that habitat for this particular fish in South Dakota is creating billions of dollars of flooding downstream.
Elsewhere, yeah.
So they're not really talking about that. So
and I've got family that actually was directly affected by that. Carly's got a brother and sister-in-law that actually had bought a house. If you go across the Mormon Bridge, it's that first exit and you get off, and they had a house back up in that area, and they lost that house to flooding. What was it, 8 years ago or something like that, or something? It was like 8 years ago when we got floods.
2011 was the first big one.
6 years, 7 years ago.
It's okay. So 2019.
You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. 7 years ago.
Bring out your abacus.
Exactly. But they lost their house, but ultimately they sold. I would assume sold it at a loss, but I can't imagine the people that bought that knowing, and then here it is, floods again. It's like, oh man.
Well, and so the major interstate when you leave Nebraska,
29.
So 29 north and south, 680 east and west.
Yep.
They have replaced that so many times between 2011 and today that I don't know why.
Did they? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yes, they have. Ridiculous amount of time. So I don't know why they don't raise it. Even just that portion, like just the interstate. So
I was driving on 29, and it seemed like the same old road. It didn't seem like a brand new road.
Dude, like they just opened that up. Like,
all I remember is when I was coming back from Des Moines, I look way off.
That's how you pronounce it.
Des Moines. I look off. I'm on 29, and I look east, and this is right before the turn from North Omaha onto that Mormon bridge, and I'm probably 5 miles back. There's a house that's up on a hill, and it's surrounded by water, and there was construction vehicles there. I'm like, you're continuing to build? Like, you're okay with this? He's like, it's just a large moat.
Yeah, I'll just
I'll
put it on stilts.
I mean, granted, it was above the floodwater. It was.
Mm-hmm.
But when do you go, well, I'm not above the floodwater anymore? Do you even have a basement at that point? You know, because I don't know if you could have a basement.
So somebody on that I'm friends with on social media, they just posted a article about a guy that he retired and won a bunch of money in a lottery or something, built his dream home on the lake.
Don't build your
literally built his home
on the lake.
On the lake. So like with the pictures of it, like you see land and like the house is off of the land. It is literally on the lake, so he could go fishing from the hole that's in his living room.
Oh, cool. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, it's like ice fishing, but without the ice.
I would build a floating house and then just tie it on all four corners.
Yeah, they call those houseboats.
Houseboats. Well, but a big house, that floats, and then you just tie it on all four corners.
They call those yachts, Britt.
And then you're like, well, I want to go on that side of the lake, and you're just like, cut the rope, and then you get to go to that side of the lake. You can't catch me.
Remember when we were in Sweden and they had those islands
Yeah.
in the lake?
Don't you know?
That would float around the lake.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
Build a house on that.
That was neat.
Just
That was super neat.
The floating island. It's different. Yeah. Nature.
Nature, Brian. I don't. Tonight, after the show, I'm gonna write that down. Nature
versus nature.
Dude, nature. Those who haven't seen nature, NEAT, nature, on YouTube, it's hilarious. Oh, that's neat.
We just talked about YouTube changing their rules and regulations.
But you can go on YouTube and see nature.
Go on there anyway. Click yes, because you're not going to read the term.
It was from 10 years ago. This guy created a nature video, and it's some of the funniest stuff. And he's like trying to call the bird to come over because it's like the only nature he's seen. He's like, come here. You're like, that's not how you call a bird.
That's a cow.
Yeah, exactly.
Cows don't do that.
He's like, this tree is oak. Caw.
That's not what a worm says.
Yeah, he's like, this tree is oak, and you know it's oak because the way it is. It's neat.
It is the way it is.
Just like,
it's oak.
What?
No, that's maple.
Wrong. Anyway.
Speaking of, there's actually a funny story about Lonely Oak Distillery.
Funny story.
Yeah, remember the tree? It wasn't actually an oak.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't actually an oak, but hey, whatever. It's a beautiful tree.
Yeah, it
and
is.
now it's on all their labels.
And it's a pretty cool story, actually.
It's nature.
Neat. Yeah, so Disney Plus, we didn't even really, we touched on it. And then we just,
on it. Yeah. I am going back and watching all the Star Wars right now.
I am going back and watching all of the Marvel stuff.
And the reason why I'm going back and watching all the Star Wars is not because I forgot. It's because it's 1080p and 4K. And
so you can see the pixels where they actually cut out the.
The only thing they didn't
X-Wing
correct is when the phasers go off. The pew pew pew.
Wait,
did
Han shoot first? Han shot first, right? They corrected that in the new version. So if you look at the old version,
you tell me what I don't get what
in the original.
In the original, the first one, which is number 4, Han
shot first. In the new ones,
Han does not shoot first.
God, what was his name? Not Guido.
Guido.
Yeah, no.
Guido.
Yeah, shot for. They corrected it.
Interesting. I did not know that.
I know you know.
And why did they go back and correct
Because it was such an internet phenomenon. Like people were arguing big time.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
This guy shot first.
Han shot first. He's such an A guy.
A guy. That A guy.
I caught myself.
You did.
I did.
That was good.
I self-filtered.
But no, it's just neat going back and watching something from my past cleared up. The last time I watched it wasn't on the big screen. Was VHS, and it was grainy, and it was an old TV, and and to see all the bright, vivid colors is nice.
Dad actually took me to go see. It was Not Return of the Jedi. It was. I want to say it was
He-Man.
Empire Strikes Back.
He-Man at the drive-in.
Well, that too.
That was great.
This was at Indian Hills Theater.
Oh yeah, they had a very beautiful, wonderful big screen theater.
Unbelievable screen.
Yeah.
Now, no longer exists.
In fact, do you know the story on that one? They tore the place down, but they wanted to keep just that theater, and then they tore it down all wrong, and it caved on itself.
Oh,
yeah, so they were
man.
gonna keep the one original big theater that was part of that.
Ridiculously awesome.
And they didn't structurally figure things out correctly. I blame the construction company, but it caved on itself one night, and they came back the morning. They went, "Oh crap!"
They had
All right, well, tear it down.
had intern engineers working on it.
Yeah, right.
I don't mean that.
Now it's part of the hospital
Engineers
system.
are very smart people. They're way smarter than I am.
Right. I don't have a degree for that.
I don't. What do we? That's a very nice purple and orange.
You need to finish that up real quick there. This is the Sunshine Orchard.
By whom?
Dougie's? I don't know. Hang on. Let me just pour it out first real quick.
Okay. It's a very nice, very subtle can art. Dig it. So
Did I say that right?
hazel.
Dougie's? Yeah, Dugges. Dougie's.
Is this a dippa again?
Lavish Liquid. This is another dippa. This is the in the crushable series of dippas. This is 8% again as well. Contains barley, malt, oats, and rice on this one.
So actually, on the dippa platform, 8% is actually relatively low on a double IPA. And rice, rice actually adds to the clarity. Which, if you look at this is not clear.
No, it's not at all.
Because you're not going to use rice to impart flavor.
It says, follow our journey as we
Interesting.
tweak our way towards the perfect double IPA, step by step, beer by beer, on and on. Forever. This is from Sweden.
Isn't that weird?
It's weird. Look at this top corner right here. I don't know it's from Sweden, but it says Sweden for I don't know why.
Interesting.
Dougie's.
Huh. I kind of did.
Kind of weird that we were talking about Sweden and now we have a beer that possibly is from Sweden.
It's like the beer was listening to us.
Was listening to us. Oh my gosh. No, it's probably not from Sweden. Let's see. This is from Sweden. It's from Sweden.
So it's not Dougie's. It's Dougie's.
So brewed and canned by Great South Bay Brewing Company, Bay Shores, New York, for Dougie's in Brygert.
You're terrible.
Bryggert. Brygert. Laverton, Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's down there in the bottom.
And it's not Dougie's. It's Dougie's.
Dougie's.
Dougie's. Yeah. It's
Ja,
Dougie's. It's Dougie's.
Welcome, ja,
Ja.
Dougie's.
Yeah.
So they're taking their
Vitamin.
they're taking their recipe and making it over in New York.
No,
right
they're
now.
bottling it over there. Making it in Sweden. They're bottling it in New York. Is basically what you just said.
I don't know. That's I guess what I read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bottling it just means putting it in the thing. Right.
Which is weird. What thing did you bring it over in? Why didn't you put it in bottles before?
Giant tankers
Exactly.
floating across the pond.
The shipping container. Let's put it in the shipping container. Careful opening it.
Yeah, I got to tell you, being in the Navy.
Hang on a second. Let's cheers to this.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, let's
There's
from
not-
from our homeland, Brian.
yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah,
That is delicious.
that is fantastic.
That is super juicy. That is packed full of flavor.
Buttery, juicy.
Sweets.
Sweet.
Getting a ton of citrus in there. Man,
That hit me on the side of my tongue.
it's
there.
like you squeezed a orange and a lemon in my mouth. Just
I don't know.
as you
I didn't
drink
get
it.
lemon, but
I mean, it's a citrus. Lemon is citrus. So orange, I would do more pineapple. Orange and
There you go,
pineapple.
pineapple,
Orange
yeah.
and pineapple. Yeah.
Mm,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
yeah. Again, all this beer is from Casual Pint. This 4-pack is expensive. It is on the $21 range, so just watch out. But for four of these,
it's rare beer. So
it's rare beer, and you're talking $5.50 per beer, roughly, which you'd pay that if you went to a pub or
But we have the Paul Bunyan beer here. I mean, these are tall cans. These are normally when you go and you buy a tall can. This is a tall can, and then you have the Paul Bunyan. It's just giant. It's enormous.
All three of those there.
Wow.
That's great though. That is. I'm gonna get some more of that.
That's an A+. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
Don't you know?
don't you know for sure? Yeah, the fjords are on fire and they are frozen too.
E. That's Canadian.
Well, Frozen 2 actually comes out.
Oh,
so that's kind of where I was on Friday.
I sometimes forget that
Dude,
you have daughters and
I
that
am
you go to that sort of thing all
probably
the time.
more excited about this than my daughters.
I have heard the soundtrack, and if you haven't caught it yet, Jimmy Fallon and who's the gal that sings?
Anna. So Kristen Bell is
Kristen Bell
is
and
Anna, and
yep.
then
So Kristen Bell and Jimmy Fallon do a thing on the Jimmy Fallon show.
okay.
And it was actually great. They recited
But
14 or 20 different Disney movies,
Mhm.
and they sang them all in a 5 to 7 minute span.
Now
It was
you're
actually really good.
So,
another thing we should watch.
Kristen Bell is a very short, 5'1", 5'2". But the other one that plays Elsa is Idina Menzel, or if you're John Travolta, it's Adele Menzine, depending on. That's. You remember
Hold on.
that?
What was her name?
Idina Menzel.
No, the first one.
Kristen
Bell, that's right.
Kristen Bell, who is in like The Good Place, and
She's married to Dak Shepard, and I think that's
and
hilarious.
she is amazing.
She's
very
very
funny.
talented.
But I don't remember where we're going with that. This is amazing. Beer.
Hey!
Yeah. Oh, so we were talking about the
There
Atlantic.
you go. Now
Yeah.
we're right back on track.
And we're back. So we were talking about the Atlantic, and when I was in the Navy, I got to say, if you've ever crossed, and we call it the pond, the Atlantic is the pond because
hot skips and jumping away across the pond.
when you consider it next
It's English
to the,
term. It's across the pond.
across the pond, when you compare it to the Pacific,
Oh yeah, the Pacific is enormous.
ridiculous. Like
Enormous.
if you think it's big, go on it. It's bigger than big.
So yeah, Carly and I don't one. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, you triggered my mind, and I was. Go ahead.
The
pond.
Yes, the most amazing night. We were out literally in the middle of the Atlantic. All the lights are off because they do the darkened ship at night. And when we were at sea, my job was to work from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So I had the over the night shift. And we always had one other person with you, and that person happened to be Lake Green. Was his name? We used to
yeah.
Yeah, we used to call him Puddle. But
Lake Green Puddle.
yeah, Lake Puddle. Yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
Anyway, he was topside, and he's outside, and he's like, Rotor, get up here. And so I had to go up there, and I was like, ooh, what's going on? He's like, just literally open your eyes. And you could literally see the Milky Way arcing across the sky. Because
That's cool.
there were no city lights.
Cool.
The ship was completely dark. There was no moon. It was unbelievable. Just, I will never forget that moment. Just literally seeing the Milky Way arc across the sky. It was, you feel so small.
Well, how about that one time we were up in Montana?
With the Aurora Borealis? That was-
Yeah,
and
Pete Northcat. Pete, you're a
yeah.
good guy, man. I
Yeah.
want to come up and see you. I know you're probably not watching the show because you don't really get on the internet, but Pete, you're a good guy.
Yeah, the mine up there, and we were camping up there, and I literally woke up because it was so bright. And I'm like, Britt,
Yeah.
get up.
2 socks.
Yeah. Oh, 2 socks. Yeah.
2
hell
socks.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
bear of a dog.
Well, kind of like
Is that a bear or is that a dog? I don't know.
That's how I feel about LeBron. Is that a
Right?
bear or is that a
A
dog?
bear or a dog? I don't know.
LeBron is the unofficial mascot of Gatsby now.
Right. So Carly and I have been getting kind of into the sailing kick thing. Not that we own a sailboat, but we would love to own a catamaran someday. I don't know if we retire and then but I've been looking at catamarans and kind of keeping an eye on pricing and whatnot. But it's always been kind of a dream of mine to have a sailboat and actually visit a lot of places throughout the world. Because, I mean, what better way to do that than have a boat that's a sailboat and then not have to pay for gas because you just naturally rely on the current of the ocean and then the wind that you were given and get from point A to point B. And that would be... I just think it would be an incredible journey to do sort of things. But we watch a lot of YouTube clips about people on boats, people having kids on boats, people taking adventures on boats and all that stuff. And it's neat to see the culture, to see the culture that is out there in this world that are actually creating these videos. And there's a few people that we like watching. La Vagabond is one of them. There's also there's that one, Sailing the Void. No, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. That's another one. Anyway, there's quite a few out there if you actually do your research on these people that just travel all over the place, and it's pretty amazing. But when they go from like sailing in the Atlantic Ocean, which seems small and you can puddle jump and hit all these small little islands, you go from the Pacific, the Atlantic Ocean, and then in the Pacific Ocean they're like, we're gonna go on a journey for 20 days, and you're like,
and we're gonna
you're just going from you're going from Hawaii to
so Midway Island is north towards Japan, or are you going to?
What am I thinking? That beautiful Fiji. So it's like Hawaii to Fiji is like 21 days. You're like 21 days on the ocean. That's amazingly crazy.
If you like, so I love Google Earth. And if you've never done it, like you can just like zoom, like you see, like there's this speck that looks interesting on the middle of the Pacific, and you zoom in and you zoom in and you zoom in and you're like, that's literally like a population of people living on this little tiny island in the middle of nowhere.
Now that you said that, Brian, that brings me to, I don't know why I did it, but I did do it. Jeffrey Epstein's Island, Little St. James.
He didn't kill himself.
Oh, did you see the beer company that's putting that on the bottom of their cans?
No, but like everybody's talking about it.
All right. So we'll look that up too. Beer.
Right. I'm glad you're taking notes. I feel so weird. Like normally I have like a laptop and an iPad, and all I literally have right now is my phone in front of me. So I feel like naked with
That's all good.
Yeah.
So anyway,
and those. So we're gonna take a little break here. Those of you that are just joining us, I see several people on here right now, and we call this impromptu because we literally have done no preparation for this.
Impromptu. Brian just went to the bathroom, and I had to impromptu for like a minute or two, which is fine. I can talk to myself.
Yeah, we're just.
It's like I'm on the radio. It's fine.
I find myself hilarious. But anyway, so we're just we wanted to talk about some things, and literally there's no rules, no holds barred. So if you want to throw some questions on here, if there are things that you want us to talk about, we will, because we're
just doing it.
Yeah, and we just had some stuff that we wanted to talk about, and we'll just keep going unless
we wanted to get. Well, here's the problem. I wanted to get an episode out, but coming up, I've got my birthday. Coming up, we've got
it's your birthday.
Coming up, we've got Thanksgiving, and it's just going to be a rush of events. And I was like, Brian was like, "Hey, Britt, what are you doing? We're gonna hang out." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's hang out tonight." And then we got together, and it's like, "Hey, why don't we just do like a show?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." I'm like, "All right, let's go."
Yeah.
And I'm all for those impromptu episodes, because we're gonna go back and look at this, and we're going, did we talk about that?
Yeah.
Like
what are we like a hour and a half in, and like we've literally had nothing.
We had nothing to talk about. That's totally fine in my book. Yeah. And we're
glad you're joining us for the ramblings of Brian and Britt.
Those who don't really know us and our first time listeners or second time listeners, when Brian and I wanted to start this show 3 years ago, Brian's like, I'm going to come over and see if we can do this. And
I wanted to see, like,
3 hours later, it was like, no, we recorded for 3 hours and we had nothing to talk about. And it was a great.
We started with nothing.
Conquest.
I was like, I just wanted to find out, can we hold a conversation for longer than 20 minutes?
I can talk to my brother for a while.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
Yeah, it was literally 3 hours later, and probably after like, I don't know how many times we said we got to end this. It was probably 6 or 8 times. We were like,
I'm going to loop back around, and I'm going to go back to Google Earth.
all right, perfect.
So I decided to get on, and I was on there for probably half an hour. I went to Epstein's Island. So if you, it's little St. James, and
I mean, for those of
so it's part of the Caribbean islands.
okay, so off of Florida, and you're gonna
So St. James is an island,
which is in the Virgin Islands,
and then Little St. James is at the tip, which
Okay.
would be the east. It would be the southeast tip of St. James.
so it's called Little St. James.
It's called Little St. James.
All right, okay. Well, there you go. You can look it up now.
It's very weird the way he built his island and the
He
things
didn't build the island.
the things that are on the island that he built. Let's
There we
just
go.
say that.
All right.
So first of all, I was noticing these little squares everywhere. I was like, or not squares, little rectangles everywhere, and I'm like,
Houses.
so I was like, I brought one of my coworkers over. He's like, oh, those would be like if the vehicle, that would be so they don't fall, they don't drive off a cliff.
Okay.
And I went,
Like a guardrail.
there's like 2 vehicles on this island. Why would you need so many of these things everywhere?
I've got a
is
golf-
everybody just
yeah.
driving things off islands?
I've got a golf cart and I've got a 4-wheeler.
Right.
That's literally.
I would
all we
assume that there, at most, there's 3 vehicles on the island.
have. Okay, there's that one guy that has the Jeep, but it was like
Right.
it washed up on
It's
shore.
his island, and that's it. Well, I got a actual download image of
topographic
the island.
image.
They actually have a guy that took a.
You mean you've been inside of Epstein's Island?
No, I have not. Negative. Do not write that about me. Somebody took a one of those little plane, the little helicopter things, and flew it into his little drone into his island, and those were actually benches. And I'm like, who needs to sit that much? Like,
Dude,
are you just like sitting all over the place?
like
I'd sit there and I sit there and I sit there, and they're not like. It's just weird. It's just a lot of benches on this island. Like, why do you have so many benches on the island?
I'm gonna reserve my
I'm
rationale.
gonna walk over here. And I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna walk over here. I'm gonna sit down. But
Yeah.
they're only spaced like 12, 20 feet apart. I don't know. It's just like there's a lot of benches on this island.
I have a theory. It's not based in any reality other than this is my theory, but I'm not going to mention it right now. This is for the after talk.
Okay, all right. He has he has a sundial.
Put that in your notes. The benches. Son of a bench.
He has a sundial, and there is a bench at each hour. Just saying. I knew where you were going there. That's why I said it. He has just these benches everywhere, and then he's got 2 seashells with an E in the middle, and then
he didn't know
he's
about
got a
the-
dock that is.
He didn't know about the 3 seashells.
I guess not.
That's your pop culture reference for the day.
3 seashells.
Yeah, he didn't know about the 3 seashells.
Seashells down the seashore.
Come on, Britt. Come on. Put your thinking cap on. Demolition Man.
Oh yeah, nice. Good call. He also has an area down by his beach where it's black and white tiled, and you're like, why would you do this down by the beach?
Why wouldn't you?
It seem like a little weird.
It's a dance floor.
He's got a boat on the beach. You're like,
Well, that's where you put it. You don't put it in the middle
shouldn't
of
be in the
island.
water. It's like on the beach.
It's anchored. It's at port.
A lot of weird things about that place. Not to mention his other places, but we won't go there. Epstein didn't kill himself.
Long way to say Epstein didn't kill himself. It's coming out.
I don't know.
Brought to you by News.
I don't know. It's just it. We really stayed away from that topic as well because that is, I don't know. It's not political, but it's such a weird subject of why he was placed in an area by himself, even though he was supposed to be under watch because he was under suicide, and it was just
Even if
too many
yeah.
things went wrong. Kind of like the start of my week.
even if you didn't pay any attention at all, you got to be like, he didn't kill himself.
We're like, what?
Like,
What?
any rational person is
What?
like, no,
No, he didn't do that.
no.
No.
He knew too much.
Is he still alive?
Ooh, that's a.
Is he still alive?
He's hanging with Biggie and Tupac.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
And Elvis.
He's too valuable of a person. He knew too many people. He had too many.
But if he's still alive, he still knows those people. So I
But
think
those people might want those things. I don't know.
I think they got rid of him.
I don't know.
I think they got rid of him.
There's a lot of places on this world he could live. Oh, or not on this world.
Well,
Space station on Mars.
have you ever seen those? Like,
Is that Epstein over there? This is the moon. What?
speaking of Google Earth, do a look at the islands off of the coast, the west coast of Canada. Like, there are islands there that's like a house
Yeah, blip.
on an island.
Yep.
It's a house on one island.
How cool would that be?
Right?
Like, this is my island.
There are pluses and minuses.
And I go to work by boat.
I have to go to the grocery store
By boat.
by boat.
By boat.
Sometimes by helicopter.
Out-
Sometimes
Out in a boat.
by
out in a
hoverboard.
boat. Out in a boat.
Hoverboard. You need power. Your hoverboard doesn't have power. You need power to
Out
go
on a
over
boat.
water.
Anyway, he didn't kill himself.
Oh man, what else are we going to talk about? What else was on? I know you said you had several things that you wanted to talk about.
Well, I mean, I don't want to dive too much into my work. Brian, as much of a bad day that I've had today, hasn't this been a great time?
It
So,
has.
you know,
There's a song out there, 'cause I'm having a bad day. Didn't go my way. 'Cause I'm having a bad day. I can't remember who did that. Anyway.
But tomorrow will be better. You know, that's all I can.
There's always
hope
tomorrow.
for, and it's supposed to be really nice tomorrow.
It's only
so
a day away.
Maybe I'll treat myself and take myself and go out to eat. And apparently, maybe I should be sitting outside since it's gonna be like 65.
Right.
Sounds like we're only gonna get like 2 or 3 more of those days, and then I'm just waiting for all these leaves to come off the tree in the front yard.
Then we can have a fire pit with all the leaves.
I used to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and that was great. I loved that house. That house I lived, Grandma's old house.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we used to have 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot flames coming out of that thing. It's
6
like
foot,
7
7
foot,
foot,
8
8 foot bunch.
daylight come.
Hand me one gold.
It's like Joe versus the volcano.
That was not Joe.
No, it wasn't Joe versus the
That was
volcano.
Beetlejuice.
But it just
Yeah.
reminded me
I
of
know.
Joey versus the volcano and where they tied all the suitcases together.
Oh.
I don't know where because we're talking about islands. Maybe that's what it was. Wasn't it Jolt soda that they drank on that island? Or it was like they worshipped the orange soda. Orange
Yeah,
soda.
there we go.
That's what it was. Bingo.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that is fantastic, man. We're gonna have to.
From Sweden, yeah?
We're gonna have to find more of that. Just Sweden. You've outshined.
You listened to our conversation and showed up where you needed to show up.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Justin, they are listening.
And I know. And know exactly the battle.
Exactly. All right.
I think that's all I got.
Yeah, that's. I think unless the viewing public wants us to just keep going.
But, actually, I don't see any comments. But the problem is, like, it's.
Bodes, I want
I
to. Bodes, I want to say thank you for all your comments.
Yeah. I didn't see 'em.
Brian, I'm on YouTube over here. Brian's on Facebook over there, so
Yeah.
I get some different comments, and so
Yeah.
nice job on bringing all that.
Thanks. For
I
that.
didn't talk on everything that he said, but people can go on YouTube and check it out.
I kind of want to. I kind of want to hit the underground now, and go see boats.
Ooh, is he playing tonight?
Not tonight, but I mean.
Oh yeah, go check him out for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what he's all about.
Yep.
So,
Citrus.
yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fun, random, impromptu event of Drink Talk, and I'm glad we did it because we just
We had a lot of fun.
we need another one this month, and this is
Yeah.
this
And
was
we got
great.
some politics in there. We're gonna have to create the list of all the things that because like we went from like beer to
Biden to
not even like before that though. Like we just went like beer
work. We talked about
Yeah,
work for a
we did.
while. We talked about islands. We talked about
God, there were so many things.
Disney. We talked about
Disney Plus.
nature.
Versus nature. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for
Anytime, Ryan. Anytime.
Right.
You know your studio. You are always welcome here at our studio.
Yes, and thank you for joining us. If you, we'll be responding to some of the comments. So if you have other comments, even after we sign off,
Yeah,
please put in. We'll try and do that over the next 24 to 48 hours and say hey.
Probably the next time you'll hear from us is in December.
Yeah,
which we haven't figured out yet.
Yeah,
but
we want to get through Thanksgiving.
There's a few things on the horizon that I've talked to a few people about getting together and making things happen. So,
but we also want to find balance with family, so we want to do the holidays and get through that. So, December sounds like a good
December.
Yeah,
sometime first week December, something like that.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. My name's Brian.
I'm Britt.
This has been an episode of Drink Talk. This was Impromptu.
Episode 95? 95.
Yeah.
We're almost going to hit that 100 marker before the end of the year. I don't know. I mean, we got to do like 4 more episodes
before the end of the year.
Before the end of the year, before the last one.
Not impossible, but
likely impossible.
Yeah. We'll try. Maybe the 100th will be our. I mean, that's only 3, and then do the 100 for the revamp of the whole year.
Oh yeah, maybe possibly.
We could potentially do. We'll see.
Okay.
To be determined.
Okay.